In this lesson, I'm going to be talking about acupressure. I'll be explaining to you what it is, what it can do for you, and we're going to be doing a brief mini facial acupressure session, and you can participate along with me while I'm demonstrating the technique. First, I'd like to thank Patty Vansel for giving me the opportunity to learn new skills and to go outside of my comfort zone. She is helping me to make this my best year ever. And to Melody Licht for all of her patience and for her giving spirit, for all of her time that she has spent helping me by videotaping these presentations and teaching me how to do this for myself. So thank you, ladies. Thank you. Some of you may have heard about acupressure. It's just like acupuncture, but there are no needles. Acupressure is an ancient form of traditional Chinese medicine, using the fingers to skillfully press key points which stimulate the body's natural self-curative abilities. Stimulating these points releases endorphins, and they are neurochemicals that relieve pain, so pain is blocked when you perform acupressure. Acupressure is a safe and gentle alternative and complementary therapy, and it's used to relieve symptoms from many common conditions such as pain from fibromyalgia, asthma, vomiting, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, painful menses, allergies, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. A skilled practitioner simply uses their thumbs and fingers to exert pressure to specific points. So, for example, if this is a point, this isn't a point, but let's say it is, you would just place your finger on that point, either your finger or your thumb. Because traditional Chinese medicine's philosophy is one where disease is caused by an energy imbalance, the purpose of acupressure is to maintain and restore the balance between the body, mind, and spirit. As I mentioned before, acupressure has been shown to be effective for many conditions, such as common colds, insomnia, painful menses, minor headaches, leg cramps, joint and muscle aches, arthritis, stiff neck, nasal bleeding, asthma, and mild nausea. Acupressure has been around for quite some time. In fact, it's been practiced as long as a healing art for more than 5,000 years. Practitioners charged for their services only when a patient was healthy. When the patient became ill, practitioners worked to restore health, and only when the patient became healthy did the practitioner accept payment. Certainly different than what we do today. There are three foundational elements of traditional Chinese medicine. The first is qi, or qi. Traditional Chinese medicine holds the belief that qi, or qi, is our life essence, and it is a vital force in maintaining and nurturing our bodies, minds, and spirits. Qi is the source of life, inspiration, and action. The second element to traditional Chinese medicine is the concept of yin and yang. This theory is rooted in the idea of two opposing yet complementary forces that shape the world and all of life, and it is central to traditional Chinese medicine. Yin and yang is used to describe the cyclical nature of energy, and it is sometimes viewed as feminine or masculine. Yin and yang influence all areas of life. They transform into each other, and you cannot have one without the other. The contrasting dot within the diagram on the slide represents the contrasting elements of the other contained within. And the third element of traditional Chinese medicine is the use of the 5-element theory. And there are 5 elements, and they are earth, water, metal, wood, and fire. The 5 elements are aspects of qi, or energy. These, and as I said before, they are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. Health is harmonious. It's a harmonious balance of all the elements. The energy of the elements ebbs and flows, a lot like the ocean, in daily and seasonal cycles. These elements correspond to particular organs and tissues in the body, and they are the building blocks of the human body and all of nature. Let me give you an example. Let's look at the wood element. Wood governs the liver and gallbladder meridians, and I'm going to talk about what exactly is a meridian a little bit later. So wood governs the liver and gallbladder meridians. For people who have healthy wood element, they are decisive and they have clear goals and vision. When there's an imbalance, people can be indecisive, stuck in life, unable to express anger, possible workaholics, and they may have digestive problems. If the liver energy is imbalanced, hot and spicy foods may irritate and upset the digestive tract, and sour and bitter foods should be ingested to balance the energy. Some common signs of a wood-liver imbalance are dry or brittle nails, pain just below the ribs, eye problems, migraines, sinus problems, and painful menses. So, when yin and yang are in harmony, and when the 5 elements are in harmony, there is balance and good health. In traditional Chinese medicine, vital energy, which we've already called qi or qi, circulates in the body through a system of pathways or channels, which are called meridians. The health is an ongoing process of maintaining balance and harmony in the circulation of qi. The meridian system is an energy distribution network that is also energetic. Qi is like a river flowing toward its ultimate source, the ocean. Meridians represent areas of high qi concentration where the energy is dynamic. Any block to that energy flow will result in an imbalance that is manifested in disease or illness. There are 14 primary meridians named for the organ or function they are associated with. Acupressure points are named for their positions on the meridian. For example, heart 7 or large intestine 4. The meridians are not the same as arteries, veins, and capillaries, and they do not correspond to any anatomic map in Western medicine. Symptoms of qi or energy deficiency are deficient blood, pale skin, pale tongue, irritability, depression, physical weakness, and burnout. And I think most of us around today that I know of are suffering from burnout. So most of us have, I would say, that are walking have deficient qi. While acupressure is a safe and non-invasive technique, there are some conditions in which acupressure should be avoided. People who are hemophiliacs, women who are pregnant, people who have recently taken drugs or alcohol, who may have severe psychotic conditions or have acute cardiovascular disorder should avoid having acupressure. So at this point in the lesson, we will be discussing 13 points that we can use on our face to help reduce stress, anxiety, and to improve the integrity of the facial muscles. Benefits can also include minimizing the appearance of wrinkles and improved blood flow. So to do the acupressure facelift, as I said before, there are 13 points that are used, and each point is located on a meridian. Treating each point promotes specific physical benefits to the body by releasing tension and promoting circulation. Acupressure addresses the whole person, not just the physical. So the emotional and the spiritual benefits can be seen as well. And this is a graphic that I did. It's supposed to be a cartoon version of me. So you can see where the points will be that we're going to be working on. So there are 6 points of the 13 that are located on the stomach meridian. That is why it is important to carefully choose what we eat, because it will show up on our faces. So I'm going to briefly go through these at this point, and then I'll specifically be going through them. And when we do this technique, we're going to be using, you can use your pointer fingers or, your pointer finger and your middle finger if you like. And you want to find, for most of these points, they're located in a divot or a hole in your body. So they'll be fairly easy to locate. So the first point is called Skull's Safeguard, and it's located on the stomach meridian. The second point is Yang Brightness, located on the gallbladder meridian. Third point is Eyes Bright, the bladder meridian. The pupil bone, the gallbladder meridian. Receiving Cures, the stomach meridian. The Welcome Fragrance, which is the large intestine. The Middleman, which is the governor vessel. The Receiving Fluids, which is the conception vessel. The Lower Hinge, which is the stomach. The Stomach Granary, which is the stomach. The Mandible Wheel, which is the stomach. The Angel Spring, which is conception vessel. And Greeting Welcome, which is stomach 9. So we're going to go into the first acupressure point. And you can do this along with me if you can. The first acupressure point is called Skull's Safeguard, and it's stomach 8. It's located right underneath the hairline, and you should be able to find like a hole, kind of, the divot. And I generally use my pointer fingers. And when I do acupressure on my face, I actually do circular motion. And it doesn't matter which direction you go. You can either go counterclockwise or clockwise, or one goes one way, one goes the other. It doesn't matter. This point helps with frontal headaches and overthinking. And an essential oil that we can use while we're doing facial acupressure is clary sage. And while we press this point, and you want to do this for, I would say do each one of these points for roughly a minute. So to do this whole routine would take you about 13 minutes. And you could do this every morning. So as you're pressing the first acupressure point on the facial acupressure, you can say this affirmation to yourself. I release all overthinking and begin to nurture myself through right thought and action. The second point is yang brightness. The acupressure point is used to release the mental congestion of old stuck thought patterns. If you were looking in the mirror and you were looking at, say, the center of your eye, it's located just above the center of your pupil, above your brow bone. So it would be right here. So this is the second point, yang brightness. The gallbladder meridian influences decision making. So touching this point allows you to move forward in life and to release anger and pain. You can use lavender essential oil on this point while you're pressing it. And the suggested affirmation is, I release the negativity of the past and bring health and wellness into every pore of my being. The third acupressure point is called Eyes Bright, and it's actually located, where your nose meets your eye, right in here. I'm going to have a hard time reading my notes because I had to take my glasses off. But it's located on the bladder meridian, and this point helps clarify vision. It helps you to look at the world in a new way and to focus more clearly on how to live. Now, usually when you do acupressure, you don't want to have long nails, but if you do, that's okay. You just want to use the flat of your finger, especially in this area because you don't want to poke your eye out. So as you're pressing the Eyes Bright point, you can use the suggested affirmation, I see the world in a new way, with peace, calm, and inner tranquility. And if you want to release depression and to go deep inside of yourself, the bladder meridian is associated with fear. So another affirmation to use would be, I release fear and depression and go deep inside myself for spiritual renewal. The fourth acupressure point is called the pupil bone, and it's located on the gallbladder meridian, and it's actually in that, there should be like where your eye ends, there's like a hole, there's a divot right there, and that's where that point is located, right there. This point helps to enhance the overall sense of well-being. By stimulating this point, you can choose to improve your mental and physical health and create a more positive state of mind. The oils you can use while pressing on these points are lavender and chamomile. And the suggested affirmation is, as I move forward in my life, I make the decision to release negative thought patterns and have a positive state of mind and inner well-being. The fifth acupressure point is called Receiving Cures, and it's located on the stomach meridian. It's actually, if you were looking in a mirror at the center of your pupil, it's located right there, just under where the bags of your eyes would be. There's a little divot, kind of. Feels almost like a V shape right there, and that's the point. On a spiritual level, this point nurtures the spirit, feeding the inner child with love and support. The essential oils you may use are spruce or neroli. And the suggested affirmation is, I receive all that life offers to nourish me. I connect with my God self within. The sixth acupressure point is called Welcome Fragrance, and that kind of makes sense. It's next to your nose. That's where we smell. And it's located on the large intestine meridian. Welcome Fragrance helps us to release the past by allowing old memories to fade. The large intestine relates to your masculine side of life, and the large intestine's job is to release the past. As you work on the large intestine, you can release self-doubt and low self-esteem. Welcome fragrance can be used to release addictive behaviors. The suggestive affirmation while pressing this point is, I release all addictive behaviors and bring balance into every cell. And you just kind of do it in a circular motion. The seventh acupressure point is called middleman, and it's right there in that little kind of hole between your lip and your nose. It's located on the governing vessel meridian. This point unites masculine and feminine energies at the soul level. It helps to erase sprains and treats seizures. The essential oil to use on this point while pressing it is either ylang ylang or pine. And the suggested affirmation to use is, I bring balance and harmony into my life, giving and receiving equally. So you would just, do this in a circular motion. It's kind of in between your first, your two front teeth. The eighth acupressure point is called receiving fluids, and it's right here in the middle of your chin. It's located on the conception vessel. It helps with anger, and it brings inspiration. The suggested affirmation is, I flow with life and release old thoughts that inhibit that flow. And this point can also be used to opening yourself up to abundance. You can even, if you don't want to do circular motions, you can tap like this. So you could do this, I flow with life and release old thoughts that inhibit my flow. The ninth acupressure point is called lower hinge, and it is located on the stomach meridian. And it is about a thumb's width away from your ear, the middle of your ear, so it's located right here. That's your lower hinge, stomach 7. This point can help you receive internal messages. Because it's located close to the ear, it helps you focus on what you are hearing and to filter out any negative self-talk. Essential oils you can use while pressing this point are either peppermint or helichrysum. The suggested affirmation is, I deserve to hear and receive the best that life has to give me. The 10th acupressure point is called the stomach granary, and it's located on the sides of the mouth, where our smile or frown lines are located. So you can press like this, or you can do it circular. And because it's called stomach granary, you kind of figure out it's on the stomach meridian. Pressing this point helps to digest food, and it begins to release the past. You can use rosemary essential oil while pressing this point, and the suggested affirmation is, I release all old fears and focus on self-love and nourishment. The 11th acupressure point is called the mandible wheel. It's located on the stomach meridian. It's just about where your lower jaw meets your upper jaw, right there in that hole, right there. And pressing this point helps relieve facial twitching, and it helps release subconscious anger and resentment. And the suggested affirmation is, I release old fears and focus on self-love and nourishment. The 12th acupressure point is called Angel Spring, and it's located on the conception vessel. It's not as far down as this hole here. It's just a little bit above, right here. And pressing this point helps to clear speech. It eases coughing, and it helps stimulate the thymus. This point helps you to speak the truth, and it opens you to your divine nature. It connects you with your inner spirituality. The suggested affirmation is, I speak my truth with joy as I move into the inner core of my being. And the last acupressure point is called Greeting Welcoming, and it's right here on either side of this divot that you have right here. It's either side on the neck, so it's right here. And it is located on the stomach meridian. It helps to regulate energy and blood, and it stimulates the thymus, and it strengthens the immune system. This point encourages awakening, openness, and self-care. The suggested affirmation is, I connect with my spiritual essence and live my truth with dignity. And just a side note, acupressure can also be used on animals as well as humans. So that's it for this acupressure webinar. And we'll take a few minutes to let Melody get set up for the question and answer session, which will be happening shortly. And you can type your questions into the chat box, which is located in the far left-hand corner of your screen. Or if you are on video, we'd be happy to have you ask your questions on video. And Miss Melody says she's ready, so does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Somebody says, I'm suffering from Qi deficiency. What should I do first? Well, that's why we went through this facial acupressure mini acupressure session. If you're suffering from Qi deficiency, doing this mini facial acupressure session either in the morning or in the evening, or you can do both, can help you feel better. And as I mentioned before, but I don't have a specific slide up, this should take you about 13 minutes. And because you want to spend about a minute on each point. And, turn the phone off. This is your time. So turn the phone off. If you take a bath or even while you're in the shower in the morning, you could do this, multitask. Play nice music. And someone wants to know, is there some way to get a chart and affirmations for each meridian? And yes, I'm going to be creating a PDF that Patty will be able to have on her website, and I can have that available on mine as well. But doing this facial acupressure routine will help balance you. Did that answer your question? Yes? Okay. Does anybody have another question? Sure. I don't see why not. Good suggestion. Well, I know Young Living Oil specifically sells Abundance. I'm not sure about some of the other companies out there. I know doTERRA does not. They don't have an Abundance Oil specifically yet. Yes, you can use Abundance Oil. And then somebody asked, if you don't have a gallbladder, does it affect the meridians? The energy is still going to flow, whether you have a gallbladder or not. It's hard to explain. Just because you don't have a gallbladder doesn't mean that your meridian is not gonna work anymore. It's gonna be blocked. It still flows through, because while the meridian is named after the gallbladder, it goes through certain parts of the body. And so there are other organs and other places of the body that the gallbladder meridian affects. not having a gallbladder is not going to affect it, I don't think. Any other questions? How often should I do this? I do this at least once a day. I mean, if you want to do it once a day, that's great. You could do it once a week, but this really is a very good self-care that you can do. And it's really good for your skin. It helps plump up stuff. It reduces the appearance of wrinkles. And it's just nice to do something for yourself. You know, you're doing self-care for yourself. So I would say every day. I do it every day. You can do this while you're in the bathtub, in the shower. You could, you know, while you're waiting in line, you could just kind of do this business, you know, being very sneaky about it. You could do this. You could, you know, you could do a couple of points. So, yeah, you don't have to specifically set aside a certain time. That's a nice thing to do for yourself because you're making an appointment because you value yourself. You're making an appointment to do self-care for that 13 minutes. But, you know, everybody's busy. You know, multitask. Do it in the shower. Do it in the bathtub. Outside while you're having your coffee or your tea. Any other questions? I did try to make this simplistic. There are about 1,000 points on the body, truthfully, that they've mapped. But I only chose the 13 on the face for us to concentrate on. But there's actually, you know, a whole bunch more that I didn't talk about. Was there something that in the slides that you didn't understand? Oh yeah, there's more points on the face. Yeah, you have points on the head, on the top of the head, on the side. The thing that's so hard about the meridian system is that they don't go in straight lines. They zigzag and go all over. So you really do have to have a chart, you know, to look at to see what point is what and what it's good for. But, you know, as we talked about, there's 6 points on the face that are for the stomach. Where's the nauseous point? You know, I think there's not one on the face, but there is one here on your wrist, right here, that you can tap or rub. And that's good for nauseousness. There's another one actually on the hand here between the pointer finger and the thumb. Let's see if I can get it. It's right here. And that's good for headaches as well. If you just hold that. I didn't mention, I had this in the original slides, but I didn't mention it because I didn't want to, you know, blow your minds. But each person, because we're all different. And so our points are different on each body. And when you work on someone, you are actually using the recipient's body's length to determine where the acupressure points are. So, for example, you know, I'm short. I'm 5 foot. And if I'm working on somebody 6 foot, their points are going to be located farther apart than mine. So, you measure the acupressure points by the width of the thumb. The width of the thumb from here to here is 1 unit. So, for me, that's 1 unit. But for some guy that's 6 foot or over and he has a bigger thumb, the spacing of the points is going to be farther apart. So let's say, for example, now I'm teaching you all to do this on yourself, but let's say, for example, you were doing this for someone else. You'd have to look at the size of their thumbs to determine exactly where those points were, because their points may be either farther apart or closer together than yours on your body. Yes? Any other questions? No? Well, that wraps it up, I guess, for this free webinar for facial acupressure.